Coming up next on Good Morning El Paso, after countless closures on I-10, the Spur 1966 bridge will finally open, making it easier to get to the UTEP campus. Also,
I believe as a result of the concussion, he has absolutely no recollection whatsoever of the events.
Investigators still want to talk to the engineer behind the worst train crash in years. The latest on the deadly Amtrak derailment. And breaking overnight, a U.S. Marine helicopter that had gone missing has been found now. The latest on the fatal discovery.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC 7's Good Morning El Paso.
And good morning. We are under an ABC 7 first alert. You can see those clouds hanging over the borderline, but that's not why we're under the first alert, Hillary.
That's right. The winds are about to pick up. Meteorologist Crystal Clyde will have more on that in a few minutes. It's something we're familiar with anyway, right?
A very good morning to you, El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Hillary Floren. Happy Friday. We can be happy that it's Friday anyway, even though it might be kind of ugly.
Yeah, of course. There's always something good about being on a Friday, right, Crystal?
Oh, yeah. That makes the forecast so much easier, even if we are under a first alert. We've got a little rain out there this morning. We did yesterday have those rain showers pick up in the afternoon, and now it's just some scattered activity to the north part of our viewing zone. Notice from Grant to Sierra counties, we see very spotty rain picking up, and then Otero to Lincoln counties, we are looking at a little more heavy or moderate rainfall that's moving on through. This is weakening though and breaking apart as it moves off to the northeast. And for the south half of our viewing zone, no rain, just clouds out there. We do have lingering moisture, and we do have a slight chance of rain again in today's forecast, which could mean again some spot pocket areas of heavy thunderstorms later on today. As for your temperatures, we're at 60 degrees as the sun rises out there. Winds are at 7 miles per hour. Las Cruces, you're at 55 with winds just 5 miles per hour. But later today, those winds are really kicking in high gear. We're talking gusts 40, 45 miles per hour in some areas. We're even under a wind advisory over parts of our viewing zone. We'll check in on that coming up.
Okay, thank you, Crystal. Well, happening today, the wait is finally over for commuters who've been wanting to use that latest overpass in West El Paso. The Texas Department of Transportation is set to open Spur 1966 between Paisano and Schuster today. Good morning, El Paso's Denise Olivas is live with the details. Denise.
Good morning, Stephanie. With the upcoming graduation starting today, UTEP announced that Spur 1966 will be opening to help relieve all that traffic as well. We're giving you a live look right now. We're going to zoom in a little bit where you can see those orange barriers are still blocking the bottom of the bridge, but later this afternoon, those will be out of the way so traffic can get through. For more than 2 years, drivers have seen the area transform. Spur 1966 now connects Schuster Avenue on the UTEP campus to Paisano Drive with a bridge built over I-10. It is meant to improve connections and traffic flow between the UTEP campus, surrounding medical facilities, Sunset Heights, and Kern Place neighborhoods. The project was estimated at $31 million, and of course it will relieve plenty of traffic, but we also have to mention the sacrifice that went into building this overpass, because more than a year ago, 2 workers were actually killed overnight while they were working on this and to finish building it. So also it might be almost of a bittersweet ending to this project for those workers who spent so many hours and so many days working on the Spur 1966. But the good news for drivers is that traffic will be looking much better in this area. For now, we're live in West El Paso. Denise Olivas, ABC 7.
All right, Denise, thank you for that live update. And now let's take a look at traffic in that area. This is I-10 and Schuster, courtesy of our TxDOT traffic cameras. You can see traffic is pretty light over there around the UTEP area, but of course, because like Denise mentioned, the graduations will be happening later today, you can imagine that things will be pretty crowded.
Last weekend's motorcycle crash in San Elizario has turned deadly. The El Paso Sheriff's Office says 20-year-old Daniel Calderon has died. He and another motorcyclist were speeding on Socorro Road when Calderon crashed into a pickup truck. He was taken to UMC, and that is where he died. Well, after their 2 children tested positive for cocaine, a Las Cruces couple is now accused of child abuse. The children are a 9-month-old boy and a 2-year-old girl. Back in March, police arrested 23-year-old Santana Jaramillo after he allegedly held his ex-girlfriend, 21-year-old Diva LaShane Blunt, and their 2 kids hostage. The investigation revealed Jaramillo and Blunt would repeatedly snort cocaine right in front of their children. Blunt was later arrested. The children are now living with relatives.
A man will spend 15 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to trafficking nearly a ton of cocaine and laundering $8 million. The feds say 44-year-old Juan Manuel Flores, also known as Cholo, is the leader of an El Paso-based drug operation. He forfeited 5 homes, 3 in Northeast, one on Ankerson, on Rushing, and another on Signal Peak Drive. He also forfeited another 2 in Clint, both on Burkett Drive. Flores was sentenced to 15 years in prison. A 6th grader is in some hot water after he brought an unloaded BB gun to school. It happened at Tierra del Sol Elementary in East El Paso. He said a school district spokeswoman says it happened Wednesday. The gun fired and the teacher took it away. The district, though, says students were never in danger. And developing now in Nepal, rescuers have found the bodies of 3 of the 8 people who were on a U.S. Marine helicopter after it went missing Tuesday. 6 Marines and 2 Nepalese soldiers were on it. Nepal's defense secretary says the wreckage was found in pieces and the bodies charred. Radio transmissions indicated its crew was having some type of fuel problem before it went missing. The helicopter was assisting with disaster relief after the devastating earthquake that struck last month, killing thousands.
Amtrak is apologizing this morning, taking full responsibility for that tragic train ride in Philadelphia. All 8 people killed in that crash have now been identified. The first funeral is being held today for the youngest victim, a 20-year-old Naval Academy midshipman. Let's go now to ABC's Valle with the very latest.
The new evidence from the crash scene, a video recording from Amtrak train 188's engine showing the train suddenly accelerating from 70 to 100 miles an hour in its final minute. The brake hit just before rounding a sharp curve.
Mere seconds into the turn, we could see the train tilting approximately 10 degrees to the right, and then the recording went blank.
Investigators still waiting to speak with the man at the controls, 32-year-old train engineer Brandon Bastian. Inside the cab, he would have had the throttle handle on the left to increase speed. A red alerter button the engineer has to hit a couple of times each minute or the engine goes into emergency shutdown. On the screen in front of him, a speedometer to tell him how fast he was going. Bastian's attorney says he is still recovering but will meet with investigators in the next few days.
I believe as a result of the concussion, he has absolutely no recollection whatsoever of the events. I'm told that his memory is likely to return as the concussion symptoms subside.
This morning, Amtrak officials say all 243 believed to be aboard are now accounted for. Families grieving for 8 people killed in the crash and praying for dozens more still hospitalized. Amtrak crews are still working here to repair the tracks. They hope to have service restored sometime next week. Valle, ABC News, Philadelphia.
And some sad news for blues music lovers this morning.
B.B. King has died at the age of 89.
If there's any blues man who's had a big influence,
I think he was the greatest guitar player that ever lived.
A look at the life of the blues legend and how he's influenced so many people over the years. Also,
I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
People of El Paso making their voices heard on the proposed changes to the animal ordinance, from microchipping to the number of animals owners can have, what it could mean for you.
And we'll talk about that first alert. Meteorologist Crystal Fry has details on that.
And that first alert includes a forecast that's very similar to yesterday. So will you see the high winds at your house? We'll talk about those gusts after your break.
Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.